Hey guys, welcome to a new Abracadabra video. I took a long break from YouTube, but during that time I did a lot of traveling and adventuring. So I'm pretty much an authority now on best places to go, so I thought I'd make a top 10 destinations video. So let's get to it. So the first place on my list is going to have to be Barcelona, Spain. I went there quite recently and I'm going to do a pretty short summary because the first time I've been there. First thing, there's heaps of touristy things to see like statues of horses, fountains, got some nice views of the ocean. Be careful walking through the alleyways because they smell like pee-pee sometimes. But this is actually where the original Willy Wonka chocolate factory is. It's pretty cool, just like the movie, there's a whole bunch of wacky shit going on in there. So have fun, but definitely be careful as well, you don't want to blow up into a balloon. Also, you might see some Oompa Loompas waiting in line, very cool. And that's Barcelona, check it out if you have the time. Next up, we're heading to Italy, specifically to the Tower of Pisa. Because there's not much else to do in Italy apart from eat pizza maybe. So when you're there you can take some forced perspective photos of you trying to hold up the tower or licking it like this chick is. Yeah, that's Pisa, so definitely worth having a look. So the next place being on the list is a bit controversial, but I think it earned its spot. Especially if you're a rock enjoyer like Big Honey or Chemistry X, you'll definitely appreciate it. The next place is Stonehenge in England. On the surface level, there's just some rocks, but there's a lot of history going on. The rocks were said to be placed there by aliens that escaped Area 51, and sometimes people say they see the aliens come and visit. So I think just having a chance to see that is worth it. So next up on the list is New Zealand. I have a long history with the country. I lived there for like 100 years and a lot of people from the outside know New Zealand to have picturesque landscapes, mountains, lakes, that sort of thing. But living there, it's a little bit different. There's a lot of films that were made there, like Lord of the Rings 2, 3. But just like Lord of the Rings and those movies, I think the outside world has a false image of New Zealand, and I wanted to share better representation of kind of the day-to-day.
Fuck you want, bitch!
I
You
don't
want me to
know.
come out then?
Well, why don't you come and tell it? Tell it how it is.
I am telling you how it is, but you're just being a little bitch about it because you can't get food.
Ah, it's because you guys saying it's 24 fucking hours.
Okay, I might be cheating with this next one because I already put England on the list, but the next place is in Bristol. It's my mate Arthur's house. I spent a lot of time at Arthur's place while I was living in England. He's got a lot of cool stuff. He's an avid collector of a lot of things, like Winnie the Pooh. I'm a huge fan as well. I don't really like Eeyore that much. He kind of gets on my nerves. Everyone else has these like sick tree houses, and Eeyore's has this crappy ass stick house that he barely manages to keep up, and it falls over every day. And he's just like, oh, it's okay, I didn't really give a shit anyway. It's like, just fuck off, Eeyore, honestly. But yeah, Arthur's house is great. It's really accommodating. It has 2 bathrooms. But one day while I was there, the city council shows up and they declare his collection as a health hazard, which me and Arthur were like, what the hell? Like, piss off, mind your own business. But the cops started bagging everything, bagged Eeyore, and that was kind of the last straw for me and Arthur, and we kind of got into a bit of a punch out with the cops, so it didn't really lead to a good situation for us, which actually leads me to my next segment. So after the debacle at Arthur's house, I ended up getting deported to America, and I served a couple of years in Alcatraz prison. I know it sounds pretty awful, but I actually had a good time for the most part. I liked the ocean views. I was even in a book club. I never really read the books, I just went online and read the summary, but it was pretty fun. Also, there was a pull-up bar, so I made lots of mates showing off there. But one day, pull-up bar broke. Someone was just way too heavy for it and just snapped it right in half. And yeah, day by day after that, they just didn't fix it, and I kind of lost hope. And I decided I wanted to leave. I didn't actually notice that the whole place was an island. I just thought we were on the coast or something. So I was a bit fucked as to how I'd actually get out of there. But I did some talking, met some guy called Nick Cage and his grandpa, and they also wanted to leave. You all watched Shawshank Redemption a couple of times, tried to do everything that they did, and it pretty much worked to a T. But I was in charge of making the raft. I made it way too fucking small, so me and Nick barely squeezed onto it, and we ran out of time and we just had to leave Grandpa behind. Yeah, me and Nick floated away from Alcatraz for a couple weeks. So me and Nick, we were floating for a while, for a couple weeks, and eventually we make it to somewhere in South America. I still don't know where exactly. And we find a civilization after a while, but didn't have any phones or any modern technology, so it was a bit frustrating. The place was called El Dorado, and pretty much most of the buildings were all just made out of solid gold. It was pretty wild. I think they just had an abundance of gold, so they just made everything out of it. We had a lot of fun there, honestly. We were there for a while. A lot of cultural dancing, even masqueraded as gods for a while. We played this scuffed version of basketball that they have, and Nick would piss me off. He'd always throw the game by trying to shoot a three, because he's a big Steph Curry fan. But he'd miss every time because the hoops aren't like this, they're fucking sideways, so I don't know how he thought that was gonna work. But with Nick being a dipshit and kind of the whole solid gold thing kind of wearing off after a while, I kind of wanted to leave. You know, because just the golden seeds just hurt my ass. So I decided to leave and convince Nick to come as well. But Nick was a bit overzealous and tried to carry way too much gold up the stairs, and he pretty much just broke his spine. So I decided to leave him there and take the boat by myself. So I was sailing alone in the boat that they set up for me, which was also made of gold, of course. I was a pretty bad navigator. I even got boarded by pirates, and they stole everything that I had, apart from the boat, in my life. And eventually I made it to land. I didn't have any money or anything, and I didn't want to sell my boat because it was pretty cool. So I ended up stealing some apples and bread and stuff like that just to survive. So the place is called Agrabah, which you might recognize from the Disney animated film Aladdin. A lot of people think that Agrabah, for that reason, isn't real, but they even shot a live-action version of Aladdin there, so just wanted to clear that misconception for you guys. So if you decide to go to Agrabah, there's lots of cool things to do. There's the palace, you might even get to meet the Sultan. I did. He's a really cool guy. There's also like desert, another desert. What else is there? There's also genie. The last place on my list holds a really special place in my heart. That place, of course, is Tokyo Disneyland. You might be asking why there specifically, but for me it's a really easy decision. It's Disney, which I like a lot, and it's anime, which I also like a lot. So just having them combined, you can see it right here. You got Donald meets K-pop, and it's just brilliant. He's very cool. He's just standing there like, and yeah. The first thing you see when you get there is the big ass castle from all the Disney intros, which is just a surreal thing to see in person. Also, because of my prolific dance history, I do get invited to dance on stage a lot with Japanese people and, you know, the boys Mickey and Donald. And Donald's just such a genuine guy. If you meet him in real life, he's probably my top 3 friends right now. Also, they have a lot of unique dishes to try. When I'm there, my favorites are Mickey Mouse sushi, Goofy ramen, the Donald Duck, among many others. And when I can convince them, even Nick shows up and it just elevates the experience to like a whole new level. We goof around a lot and we go and see Beast from Beauty and the Beast, Clock from Beauty and the Beast, Candle Guy from Beauty and the Beast. There's even Hercules and like a live action Pegasus. And Genie.
And the work and the twerk and the firework and the work and twerk and work and a jerk.